Which situation will always create high sexual tension? Story 1. She was standing close together at an old job. I was doing a bit of work on a computer, and this girl, whom I happened to be interested in, came up to me and started to have a conversation. So I turned and faced her. A couple of sentences later, she steps towards me, so we're about half a foot apart. The tension was intense. I should have asked for her number or something. Story 2. Back in middle school, I was in photography class. This girl I liked was getting set up and was a beginner, so I had to help her do her first pictures in the darkroom. I was like, this is my chance. Of course, nothing happened, but it was an agitated situation for a 14-year-old. Story 3. I've been crushing hard on this guy since 6th grade. We'd been friends for years. He invited me over to watch The Hobbit, and we went swimming. After some fake wrestling in the pool, we ended up making out. Literally the most magical moment of my teenage life. To be young again. Story 4. In college, I got a pretty meh haircut and was lamenting it to a group of friends. Finally, one girl chimed in that said she could fix it for me and had all the tools in her room to do it. We went back to her dorm room, and she slowly spent much time snipping little bits of my hair, moving around me, and we made a fuck ton of eye contact while she checked it from every angle. She'd get in close to check things, and I could feel her breath on my neck. Or she'd run her fingers through my hair and across my scalp to trim some up. The tension was so thick I could barely breathe, and she did a great job on my hair. Story 5. When you hang out in a group get-together all day, everything dies down until it's just the two of you talking in the middle of the night. Story 6. Anything involving adrenaline, scary situations, roller coasters, horror movies, etc. The heightened levels of arousal, physical not sexual, that come with those situations get the juices flowing, and the two people are much more likely to attach those intense feelings than the actual stressor. Story 7. Being in a small, dark, enclosed space with someone else. Hide and seek as a tween was an informative experience for me, even though nothing happened. Story 8. When you're sitting next to someone you like who likes you back, and your knees, legs start touching, but neither of you pulls away, you're just too aware that you're feeling and getting closer. Story 9. My ex-girlfriend and I, before we were dating, went to the music room at a school once so she could grab her instrument. And then we had an unexpected lockdown drill, so we had to stay in there with the lights off. I think it's fair to say that experience may have been what was the final push to us starting to date. Story 10. When I was in college, a group of friends and I were walking around campus, and some were on skateboards. I tried to impress one of the girls and ate shit riding down this short, steep hill. Scraped my arm pretty badly. Said girl took me to her dorm, where she had a first aid kit. She sanitized, washed, took Neosporin, and bandaged me up. God damn, the tension was intense. Story 11. We were sitting next to each other. She moved her foot and accidentally hit mine. She quickly pushed it back, saying she didn't mean to. I told her it was beautiful and I didn't mind it. She did it again a few minutes later, but kept it there. It was an exciting hour. Story 12. I was 15-ish. Me and the girl I fancied would slap each other's hands under the table until one time she grabbed it and we held hands the rest of the lesson. Went on like that every study. My dumbass didn't take that as a sign she felt the same way until years later when she told me at a party. Story 13. I spent a super drunk night in my formative years thinking I was lightly brushing my toes on the girl sitting opposite to my legs. Then she got up to go to the bathroom and her leg was still there. It turns out that when I'm drunk, I can't tell the difference between a woman's leg and a table leg. Story 14. My crush once sat beside me outside of nowhere, and we would accidentally brush up against each other and catch each other's glances, and we were both so silent to the point that everyone was talking except us. Throughout the day, we always looked at each other and simply tried to be near each other, but we never shared a single word. Story 15. A guy I was seeing came around one evening with his paramedic uniform on, and he was leaning against my table and flexed to get back up. I never understood why the uniform thing was hot before, but his bending while wearing his uniform almost destroyed my ovaries in one blow. Story 16. I got my job in healthcare just before COVID kicked off and remained there to this day. I am in head-to-toe scrubs with a mask and hair covering all day long, and I can say that a stupid amount of sexual tension still arises when all you see is a person's eyes. Story 17. One of the hottest things I ever saw was when one of my managers asked a few of us to help her pick out a bikini for spring break. During my sophomore year of college, I worked retail and had a lovely manager who had just graduated. We had just gotten in new bikinis, and she was picking one out to wear during spring break. A few other people and I were closing up when she came out of a dressing room wearing a blue string bikini that looked great on her. She asked us our opinion, and then she told us to wait a minute while she tried on a green one. Watching her feet under the door as she took off the blue and put on the green was one of the hottest things I'd seen up to that point in my life. I was speechless when she came back and saw us all standing there staring at the door. She got this huge smile because she knew she was killing us. Story 18. I remember being the adult in the house when my cousin hung out with a few of her cousins and school friends. They were all like 13, 14 at the time, begging me to play Twister with them. I convinced them to settle for having me spin the arrow. My 20-something self was not in any way about to play Twister with many teen girls. Thanks. Story 19. I remember one time my guy friend was tightening my harness for rock climbing and my pussy damn near exploded with sexual tension. Story 20. I sat next to this Welsh girl on a transatlantic flight once. I was 18, she was probably 22, 23. I noticed her before boarding the flight and thought she was cute. I had to hide a smile when she sat next to me in a 2-seat row. I had never heard a Welsh accent before, so when she smiled and said hi, I melted in my seat and fell in love. We had quite a bit in common, and we talked and laughed most of the flight. When we got off the plane, she was like, all right, shall we head towards baggage claim? I told her I had to wait for my parents, who were sitting in a different row. She said, oh, okay, bye. Hope you enjoy your trip, or something to that effect, and walked off. No phone number, no social media, not even a last name. Granted, I was too young for her anyway, but Mathilda, if you're out there, no, I still occasionally think of you 9 years later. Story 21. When my BF, before we started dating, noticed I had freckles on my face and asked if he could pull off my glasses to see them better. He did it so gently, and I didn't know what to do with myself. Story 22. When I was younger and my female friends would want a massage, it always felt like this tension. Some of them got upset with me, and it took a couple of years to figure out that it was because I had never tried anything with them. Story 23. I got caught in the rain with someone once. We were both attached to other people at the time, and currently as well, and had gone out for a professional/friendly lunch. I had picked her up from work, discussed the project, ate, and was ready to leave when the sky opened up. I ran to my car, down the block, got it, and drove to the restaurant to pick her up. She dashed out of the entrance and into my vehicle. Both of us were soaked. We looked at each other for a moment and laughed it off. I always thought she was cute and a good friend, but I wanted so desperately to kiss her. I wanted her so bad. The urge was incredibly overwhelming. I've never had that kind of feeling since. I have no idea if she ever thought of me as more than a friend, but that moment changed how I felt about her. Story 24. Going to someone's place for the first date. In public. On the first date, it's not so bad because you're distracted by other shit, but being alone in a private place, just you and them with no distractions, it's fucking torture and awkward as shit. Story 25. My GF was helping me find some pants at the store. It was always hard to find my size, so she was helping. I tried on a pair and she started tugging pretty hard on the waist of the pants. We both got turned on within seconds. If JCPenney allowed sex in their fitting rooms, it would have been all over.